Welcome, everybody, to the How to Bet on March Madness show on the Grueling Truth Sports Network. I'm your host for How to Bet on March Madness, Mike Goodpastor. And of course, we're a few weeks away from the tournament yet, so we don't know who's playing who. But what we can do is do some future betting where you can actually bet on a team that will make the Final Four or play for the national championship. And a lot of times you can make a lot of money that way, especially if you're going a team that may only be, if you've got, say, the eighth ranked team in the country, your odds are still going to be pretty long to get to make a national championship game. And the great thing when you make a futures bet is those numbers stay. So if I bet it today and say Kentucky is plus 750, if Kentucky by the time we get to the tournament is plus 600, I'm still rolling with plus 750, which I really like. You get a lot of value there. Of course, I can always go the other direction and drop down. And today we're going to look at the teams that people think are most likely to get there, maybe teams that are Cinderella teams that you can make a lot of money off of if you make a futures bet now. We're going to start off with Gonzaga. And the Zags here, they've looked like the best team in the country for most of the year. I mean, the problem here is the St. Mary's game from like last weekend does have to worry people. But trust me, the Zags are an excellent bet to win it all. But the only problem is they're like plus 380, plus 360 right now. So if you're a guy that's just looking to throw $30 on there, it's probably not worth the value. They've got Drew Timme, who leads the club in scoring. They got Andrew Nembhard. Big man Chet Holmgren, who's a freshman, has really set it off. And you got Mark Few. Mark Few is an experienced head coach. They lost to Baylor in the national championship last year. So, I mean, Gonzaga, like I said, if you're betting $1,000, it might be worth it. But if you're a guy that's just trying to get rich quick, basically, and bet $20 or $30, yeah, Gonzaga is probably not your team. All right, next we're going to go to the Kentucky Wildcats. This is a better bet to me. When you look at the Kentucky Wildcats, they're not an old team, but they're not young. This is probably the oldest team John Calipari's had, which makes them dangerous. They have a balanced scoring offense. They have struggled a little bit at times on the road against the better teams in the country, but who does it? It's on the road against the better teams in the country. Now, the Wildcats playing consistently enough to win 6 straight games may be a little rough, but it's a fantastic team in Kentucky, and at plus 750 is what I think they're at right now. And that's not a bad bet by any means. The Kentucky Wildcats are a blue blood. They're going to make a run at it probably this year, at least Sweet 16, maybe Final Four. So when you look at that, I think there's every chance here to go ahead and jump on that 750. You can make some solid money there. The bang for the buck is definitely there with the Kentucky Wildcats. All right, next up, we're going to look at Illinois. Illinois is a team right now that's getting plus 4,000. The thing about them is they got Kofi Cockburn, who is a man amongst boys at Illinois. If he stays out of foul trouble, they're going to be really hard to beat. They've got good guard play, plus the values there at plus 4,000. Another team I want to check out, the Purdue Boilermakers. They've got Jaden Ivey, a point guard. You've got to have a point guard to have success in March Madness. They've got that. You've got Coach Painter there. He's a solid coach. The only thing that scares you with Purdue is the last time they went to the Final Four was 1980. And you've had years where they look like one of the 5 or 6 best teams in the country, and then they flame out in the second round of the tournament. So the history of Purdue here has to leave you a little bit worried. But the Purdue Boilermakers are a really good team, and right now I think you're getting plus 1,600. We're going to take you through and look at futures betting, and you can kind of see what you have to do to be able to do that. And we're going to go ahead and pull up the odds now. These odds are on FanDuel. That's one of the people that we push. You know, FanDuel, Caesars, BetMGM. And when we look at this, to be the NCAA basketball champion, we talked about Gonzaga. Right now, they're plus 370. So if I'm not a huge bettor, I'm not a high roller, and I'm betting $30, I win 111. To me, that's not worth the risk. It's just not. Now, if I'm going to bet Kentucky at plus 750, if I drop $30 on them, $225. Much better value. You know, and the value is the thing here when you're betting. You want to get the best bang for your buck that you can. Next up, Purdue, plus 1,600. I really like this one. I don't know if they're going to win it all or not, but they're fully capable. If I just want to throw $30 on them, it pays, or $20, it pays $320. If I want to bust $30 on them, it pays $480. Then you're talking some major value. And if you want even more value, all right, the Illinois with Kofi Cockburn. If I come over here and I bet $30, or I bet 20 again, but if I bet $30 on Illinois to win it all and they win, it pays off at $1,200. So if you want to get a little riskier and you want to go ahead and bet $100, then you're making $4,000. That's a pretty good one. Your wife probably won't mind you betting if you hit that. All right. The other thing you could do here is you could bet on whether the team makes it to the Final Four. This is one that, unless you get a team like in Illinois, if you say, yeah, I think Illinois is going to make the Final Four, so I'm going to drop $30 on them, you make $285. So I bet there's good. Let's say a team like UCLA. UCLA made the Final Four last year. I don't think they're a long shot this year. $30 pays $180. So to me, I'm going to hit that national champion to see if I can make some bank. All right, guys. Remember, we will have shows all throughout the NCAA tournament. We'll have you covered for all 3 or 4 weeks. Make sure you check out the description below the video on YouTube. That will take you right to FanDuel and the odds we just saw. But for now, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap this show up. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Grueling Truth. Go like our Facebook page. But for now, I'm Mike Goodpastor. You've been watching and listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.